Om Sahana Bhavatu Sahanau Bhunaktu Sahavidyam Karvavahai Tejasvinavadhitamastu ma vidvishavahai. Shanti Shanti Shanti. Om Bhadram Karnebhih Shrunuyama Devaah Bhadram Pashyemakshabhiryajatraah Sthirairangai Stuštuvagum Sastanubhih Vyashema Devahitam Yadayuh Swasti na Indra Vruddhashavaah Swasti na Pusha Vishwavedhaah Swasti nastarksho Arishtanemihi Swasti no Brahaspatir Dadhatu. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Om Namo Brahmadibhyo Brahma Vidya Sampradaya Kartrubhyo Vansharishibhyo Mahatbhyo Namo Gurubhyah. Sarvopaplavarahitah prajnanaghanah pratyagartho brahmaivahamasmi brahmaivahamasmi. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Shruti Smriti Purananam Alayam Karunalayam Namami Bhagavatpadam Shankaram Lokashankaram Shankaram Shankaracharyam Keshavam Badarayanam Sutra Bhashya Kritau Vande Bhagavantau Punah Punah Ishvaro Gururatmeti Murti Bheda Vibhagine Vyomavad Vyapta Dehaya Dakshinamurtaye Namaha. Ajnanatimirandasya Gnananjana Shalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. First mantra. Dva Suparna Sayuja Sakhaya Dva Suparna Sayuja Sakhaya Samanam Vruksham Parishasvajate Samanam Vruksham Parishasvajate Tayoranyam Pippalam Swadvatti Tayoranyam Pippalam Swadvatti Anashnananyo Abhichakashiti Anashnananyo Abhichakashiti. Dva Suparna Sayuja Sakhaya. These two birds who are Suparnaha, Suparnau, Shobhana Pattanau, means they are very shining, bright in sense of conscious. Sayuja, they are together, or you can say Sakhaya, they are always together because they both have the same origin. Okay, and they are where? On a tree. Samane vruksham parishasvajate. They are on the same tree, they are perched on the same tree. There are two shining birds on a same tree having the same origin. And then he says, Rishi says, Tayoho Anyam, of the two. Anyam is one. Pippalam Swadu Atti. Pippalam means fruits. Swadu means varied, not necessarily tasty. It may be pleasant and unpleasant both. Swadu Atti eats the fruits, varieties of fruit. Anyaha, the other one. Anashnan, doesn't eat. Abhichakashiti, he just watches. Okay? The second one is not eating, but just watching. Please understand here two things. Okay? When they are talking of two birds, first of all, what is the tree? On the branch of a given tree they are there. This tree is called Samsara Vriksha. This Samsara is called Vriksha because its nature is like Vriksha. In Sanskrit language, a word used for something, it describes or reveals the nature of a given vastu. Like this Shariram, body is called Shariram. The verb is Shru, that which keeps on decaying, that which keeps on disintegrating, that is Shariram. That's the nature of Shariram. Similarly, Vrikshaha, Vrishchanad Vriksha, that which can be cut asunder, that which can be uprooted. Both. You can cut the tree and you can uproot the tree also. The samsara is called vriksha. You can cut the samsara. And if I put it further, cut it to the size, to what the actual size is. And it can be felled. It can be uprooted. One thing. In this samsara, there are two birds. You can say in this sharira, there are two. Now when it is says, Sayuja Sakhayo, Samane Vrikshe Sakhayo, Sayuja Sakhaya, they are Sakha, not in a sense of Hindi, friends, but Sakha means they both have the same origin. But one thing we should know, when they both have same origin, what does it mean? Are there two sons, like a same vastu, same origin? Two persons can be belong to same parentage, and therefore you can say they have same origin. Or like there are two trees, or two same type of the tree, you can say the same origin. No. Here, the same origin is in the sense of they are of the same nature. Swarupataha saman. By nature, they are same. However, they don't look like same as of now. Okay? As of now, sayuja, sayujau, sahaiva sarvada yuktau, sakhayau, samana kyanau, samana abhivyakti karanau, evam bhutau santau. Their expression is same. Their manifestation is same. And then if their manifestation is same, their origin is same, then how come they are different in their conduct? How come they are different in their behavior? Why? See the next third line is Tayoho anyam pippalam swaduvat. Of the two, one that is swaduvati, varieties of food, varieties of fruits is eating. Means one bird vividly, clearly, or you can say all the time keeps on experiencing fruits, varieties of fruits. Okay. Technically, pippalam means the fruit of the people tree. Okay, and that is a jiva bird. The bird, the jiva, the bird is sitting on a tree of samsara in order to eat the fruits of the samsara. Varieties of fruit. Varieties is there, but at the end of it, there is only two varieties. One variety is happiness, another variety is unhappiness. And you can add third variety, happiness mixed with unhappiness, which is true generally. Most of the fruits are like that. Happiness mixed up with certain unhappiness. The jiva bird undergoes with varieties of experiences caused by his or her own longings, his or her own vasanas, samskaras, his wants, they cause this, Pippalam svadvasti, varieties of fruit. And while eating those fruits, if there are more pleasant, then it wants further more, generally. And if there are more unpleasant, then there is a sense of withdrawal, He wants to withdraw. Why? Because he doesn't want unhappiness. Ultimately, Jiva is aspiring to eat the fruit only to be happy. Sometimes it turns out to be otherwise. Okay? Now he says, Anashnan anyo abhichakashit. The Jiva looks for a fruit, to eat the fruit. There is the only hope to feel happy. The bottom line of pursuing a given fruit and eating a given fruit is the longing for happiness. Swaduvatti, it eats happiness, wants happiness, but more often than not meets with unhappiness or unpleasantries. That is another thing. But the Jiva's calculations or expectation is for happiness. Since it doesn't get it, therefore it goes off for varieties of fruit. The variety of fruit is expected because it wants to be happy. It wants to be further happy. If some happiness is gained, you can add security, mainly some security and pleasure. If it has relatively some security and pleasure, it wants further pleasure. It wants further security. Swaduvatti keeps on going here and there, from one branch to other, and sometimes going down also on the floor when the fruits have fallen. Means wherever the fruit is available, in whatever the experience is available, which promises or to him or her, in his or her own subjective estimation, this will give me happiness. And that kind of phalam, atti, swaduvatti. It may not be delicious, but fellow goes for delicious food only. Delicious food, thinking it is delicious. Swamiji would say always, it is like eating peanuts. When few peanuts are good, but suddenly you end up with one peanut which leaves such a bad taste in the mouth, then all the joy is lost. And even if you drink water and eat few more peanuts, the taste doesn't come. One thing is very powerful. Similarly, the Jiva goes for good peanuts, but more often than not, it gets that kind of bad peanuts. But Swaduvatti, it keeps on eating for this reason. Okay, who is the other one? Other means the one which is distinct from him. Which is not that. Who is not that? Therefore, other. When you say other, means not the one which I talked before. Hey, you come up, come here. Then he says, me? No, the other one. Other one means not you. So that other one is not this. Means how come? He says, anyaha anashnan abhichakashit. It doesn't eat and it is just a witness. It sits in everybody, though it doesn't partake to any experience that Jiva undergoes. It doesn't have any experience of its own. But then at the same time, it is the one who sits and lights up the other fellow. That can be Ishvara, you can look upon it. Ishvara, The consciousness conditioned by Maya Shakti, Anashnan, Abhichakashiti, with reference to the whole creation, or individually, the ignorant one, the non-discriminate one, is going for phalam. Which phalam? Karma nishpannam sukha dukkha lakshanam phalam. Shankaracharya ji says this. And the other one is phala bhokta. One is phala bhokta. Kim rupa phalam? Karmana nishpan. That phalam which is caused by, which is achieved by performing karma. And what kind of phalam? Sukha dukkha adi lakshanam, whose nature of which is characterized by sukha dukkha, etc. That phalam, it is. Other one is abhichakashiti. Why it doesn't eat? It should also eat the swadhuvati. And how come it is just watching? Because the other fellow is not capable of eating. He is not capable of doing anything. It has no activity also. Okay? That is what its nature is. And all activity of this, the first fellow, takes place because of this. Who is that Atma? That is Atma. And what is the nature of Atma? He says, Ishvaraha. Anashna. Anyaha means Itaraha, the other one. Ishvaraha. Of which Ishvara? Mayopadi Ishvara? No. Nitya Shuddha Buddha Mukta Swabhavaha Ishvara. Sarvagna. Satvodvadi Ishvara. Ishvara Anashnadi. It doesn't eat. Okay, let him not. No, it doesn't eat. It is what? He is prerayita. Yes, this fellow is the one who prompts it. Prompts it how? We'll see that little later. Which causes as though all activity. Ubhayo asau ubhayoho bhoja bhoktroho nitya sakshitva satta matrena. It is just mere presence. It just provides mere existence. It is Purna. Advaya Swarupatvat. It is of the nature of non-dual. And at the same time, it is Prerayita. How? That Shankaracharya Tikakara gives an example. Like the sun, who doesn't do anything. But all the activities of plant and animal kingdom, you can say, is caused by the sun. When the sun rises, they start all their activities, searching for food and running around here and there. Plant kingdom also start the activity through sunlight and photosynthesis and etc. Sun doesn't do. But at the same time, it is prerayita. It makes other do. Now, making other do is to be understood. Not by pushing. No, it makes other do without being a doer. This is the lakshartha one should know. The vachyartha of this statement, I make others do. That means I am a doer as a prerayita. I am pushing them to do, either using my authority or by through providing incentive out of fear or whatever. But I am pushing them to do. That means I am in a way doer who makes other do. Without being doer, it makes other perform the action. How? Sannidhi matrena. Bhikshu, by mere presence. Satta matrena. Nitya sakshitva satta matrena. It is just witness. And it just provides the very existence to it. There are two ways of looking at it. Look at this. When I get hot water in my tap, and then somebody, oh, it's so hot. How come it's so hot here? You don't seem to have a water geyser? He says, no, I have solar panels on the top, on the rooftop panels. So it is heated by sun. One way of it is there is sun which heats up the water. There is sun which lights up the home. But sun heats up the water without doing a work of heating. By mere presence of a sun on the horizon, due to the intermediacy, due to the agency of solar panels or geyser panels, solar panels, water gets heated. I say sun heats the water. It is because of the sun water is heated. But if you ask the sun, did you heat up the water? No, I didn't do anything. That is called prerayita. By mere presence, okay, without doing anything, without performing any action, it lights up, it illumines everything. Illumination or lighting up it, not in a literal sense of throwing light, electricity. It makes the thing to do what is designed to do. That is called illumination. It as though enlivens the panels to heat up the water. Okay? So that is called illuminating everything. It just lends its own shine, its own energy, as though sun lends its own energy to water to heat up. Sun as though lends its own energy to bulb and tube light and all apertures to light up the whole. It lends its energy to run a wristwatch if it is a solar wristwatch. If it lends its energy to a solar torch to light up the things, by sannidhi matre, by mere presence, without doing anything, its nature being what it is, its mere presence lights up the things. Its mere presence, you can say, enlivens the other things. By its mere presence, it makes the other things to do what they are supposed to do. That is called anashnan abhichakashit. The first bird, the jiva, is conscious. The consciousness is also borrowed from the self. Atma, that Ishvara, you can call it. And then, because of that consciousness, you can use the word reflected consciousness. A right word is the consciousness obtaining in antakaranam. Somehow takes itself to be size of antakaranam and thereby to the size of gross body. Why it takes and how it takes, there is no answer. That is why it is called Maya. Exactly like The sun is all pervasive, sunlight is all pervasive. But in a piece of, in a mirror, there is a sun which obtains in a mirror of apparently of the size of the mirror, apparently of the shape of the mirror, apparently having the qualities of the mirror. Sun doesn't have any black dots, but if the mirror has black dots, the sun will have appearance of having black dots. The surface may be dull or dusty. Therefore, it may appear to be dusty. So there is a obtaining sun, you can say, in a given mirror. Like the sun is outside mirror also. Inside, outside, everywhere. But somehow that the obtaining sun in the mirror takes itself to be the size and the shape and the qualities of the mirror. Similarly, consciousness is all pervasive. Antakaranam being satvikam. There is an obtaining consciousness. That you can call it Chaitanya Abhasa or Badhita Chaitanya. That obtaining consciousness somehow takes itself to be size of the Antakaranam. Antakaranam is like mirror. The surface is dirty, Antakaranam is dirty, I am bad dirty. Dirty means bad thoughts and bad person. That's a conclusion. And the Antakaranam being identified or a part of a given Sukshma Sharira, and Sukshma Sharira being identified with the Sthula Sharira, all the qualities of Sukshma Sharira and Sthula Sharira taken upon oneself by that obtaining consciousness. Therefore, they call it Chit Pratibimba. It is not Pratibimba, reflection like mirror. Please understand. The word is used, Chit Pratibimba, Chidabhasaha, Chidakashaha. All that it means, just as there is the obtaining sun in a given piece of mirror, similarly obtaining consciousness. Which sun is available? Obtaining, understand. The sun that is light, the sun that is heat. In a piece of iron ore, there is a sun obtaining. Or a steel tumbler, you put it in sunlight. There is a sun obtaining. If it is not properly put at a proper angle, obtaining sun is in terms of heat. The hot sun is available, is obtained in the iron ore or any metal. But here in the mirror, the shining sun is obtained. The sun that is shining. Similarly, consciousness which is Satchit is there with everything. But when the gross body is endowed with a subtle body, any gross matter, then Sat-Srupa consciousness, that consciousness which is existence, it obtains as sentiency also. Mirror becomes hot. There is a hot sun in the mirror, but there is a shining sun as well. In a piece of iron ore, there is only hot sun obtaining, but there is no shining sun available. And if I go further with modern example, if there are solar panels, there is a power sun, energy sun. The energy sun, power of the sun, energy of the sun is obtaining there. Sun is an energy. And you convert the energy to use it as a heater or light or whatever. That depends upon the panel, nature and the use. So in Manushya Antakaranam, Manushya Sukshma Sharira, the consciousness is available at Satchid Ananda. That is Chidabhas, obtaining consciousness. Somehow takes itself to be Karta Bhokta. Somehow takes itself to be of the size of the mirror and the frame and the nature, etc. I am the size of the gross body, subtle body, etc. That is Jiva. Though it is said there are two, but there are not two, it is one, appears as other because of ignorance. And when ignorance is removed, discovery is as it is. So the statement that there are two birds, the two-some or two-some, that's the right word, Jiva Ishvara. They are two-some together. Why? It is from the standpoint of the ignorance and knowledge. In ignorance, there is only Karta Bhokta. And there is if you are a Hindu, and that too a samskari Hindu, some dharmic Hindu, there is some vicarious thing. Yes, sabke hriday mein Ram baitha. And the Rama is sitting in the heart of everybody. And if you are Hare Krishna, then Krishna is sitting. Okay, you don't accept Rama. And the picture is, that signing Rama, signing Krishna. There is a sloka in Gita, Sunichaiva Swapaketa, Vidya Vinaya Sampanne, Brahmane Gavi Hastini, Sunichaiva Swapaketa, Panditaha Samadarshana. Samadarshana. Vidya Vinaya Sampanne Brahmana. And the Brahmana has to be Vidya Sampanna. Okay, that only makes Brahmana. Not only Yagno Pavitam. But then Vinaya Sampanna. That is one to be needs to cultivate. Humility. Knowledge can breed arrogance, haughtiness. It can bleed ahankar. But here is Vinaya Sampanna. That Brahmana. And Gavi, elephant. Sai, cow. And Hastini means elephant. Vidya Vinaya Sampanne Brahmane Gavi Hastini Shuni Chaiva Shvapaket. In the dog bit. And the one Chandala who eats the dog also. Panditaha Samadarshini. They see the same. So they picturize, There is a round here. Inside there is Krishna. And radiating light. Rays of lights are thrown by Krishna, sitting inside. It is as though making this conscious and this. That's not a point. The fellow who is a Brahmana is non-separate from the Sakshi, Abhichakashit, the one who is not eating. Not eating can be craving also. I don't eat, but I crave also. This is a typical problem of people on diet. Family is eating and that fellow is not eating. But then craving is there, everyone else is eating. Or typical problem of diabetic fellows, People are eating and this fellow has a craving. So, Swamiji, I don't eat ice cream all the time. I have a diabetes. But today, since you have come, I will eat. Who told you to eat? I don't want you to eat. He uses my name. Since you have come, I will eat the ice cream. I should give you company. It doesn't look nice if I don't eat it and you come home and you eat. Then I say, I'm not going to eat. No, 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 Swamiji. Now, after all, she has brought with love and emotions. I should eat. That is a craving. Anyway, coming back to this, the non-eating means what? And Sakshi means what? Understand? Sakshitvam is not an action. Witnessing can be an action. Here, the word witness is status of being witness is imputed on Atma. This is Adhyaropa Apvada. You superimpose and then negate. Self is never a witness, but it is told to be witness so that I may remove I from non-self. To make me understand what I am not. That what I am not is taken as what I am. And to do the negation of Adhyaropa, superimposition, or ignorance born self-identity, the self is told as Sakshi. It means distinct. What does it mean by distinct? Sakshi means asangaha, not affected, not touched. I just witnessed the flow of the river. I witnessed on a beach the movement of the waves. That means I am not affected, I am asangaha. What does it mean by asanga? That which is doing, the Jivatma who is performing, is not separate from the Sakshi. Is not independent of the Sakshi. Therefore, Dva Suparna Sayuja Sakhaya. They are of the same nature. That the bird which eats the fruit is not separate from the one who doesn't eat. But the one who doesn't eat is not contaminated, not touched, not affected by the eater. How is it possible? If the eater is not separate from that Atma, how come that Atma doesn't get affected? Because eater is eating and he is not separate from that. That is, that eater, karmafal bhokta, is mithya. This is called mithyat. The reality of the eater is nothing. Not shunyam, but it doesn't have its own existence. It doesn't have its own sentience. It is in a borrowed existence, borrowed sentiency from Satchidatma. Or if I put a very popular statement for you, B is A, but A is not B. To convey A is not B, A is called a Sakshi of the B, the beggar, A, the actor. Sakshi means untouched. At the same time, beggar is not separate from the actor. Beggar is not away from the actor. Its existence is borrowed from the actor. Its sentiency of the beggar is borrowed from the actor. The height of the beggar, the weight of the beggar, the color of the beggar, everything, the DNA of the beggar is non-separate from the DNA of the actor. But the second statement that actor is unaffected by it, it implies beggar is mithya. It is not real. So Jiva is mithya. Jiva is not real. So Sukha Dukkha of the Jiva is mithya. The movement of Ahankara is mithya. It doesn't touch, doesn't affect the consciousness, the another bird. And therefore they give a simile of swapna. Whatever the dreamer does, the fellow who is in the dream world, whatever he does is in the waker, that the fellow who is a dreamer is not affected, he is a sakshi. In spite of providing existence and sentiency to all karta bhokta, he doesn't do anything. How does it provide? Sannidhi matra. In spite of providing some fraction of its energy to geyser or solar panels, thereby the water is heated, it doesn't do anything. It is asanga. Sakshi word is not to be translated in a vachyartha. Atma doesn't keep on witnessing all the time what is going on. It is like the deaf fellow, blind and deaf fellow going to see a movie. Then you can say he is a real witness. Doesn't listen anything and doesn't see anything. And therefore it becomes a witness. Anashtana bichakashiti. It is not in that sense. Witness is unaffected. The second fellow witness is to convey that Chidavasa or Chidakara, Ahankara is mithya. And mithya is in a borrowed existence. So that Chidananda Atma provides existence to mithya as well. Abhichakashiti anasnan. Okay. And that is Ishvara. We don't say Ishvara is sitting in the heaven or some Golok, Saket Lok, Vaikunt Lok, Kailas Dham, etc. and keeps on watching you. He keeps on watching you. Be careful. Like in the West, they have to put a board. After 500 meters, there will be cameras on the road. So you should know that surveillance is going on. If that's not mentioned, the court may dismiss the case of high speeding. Because therefore they have to mention that I am doing surveillance. Police surveillance is being done. God's surveillance is being done. And that God keeps us in fear because He is watching. Be careful. Everything, whatever you do, God is watching. We are not talking about that watching. It just watches. It doesn't do anything of even seeing us, even watching us. It is to say that the second one is mithya. There is no reality possible or given to the first one. The one who is fluttering around, one who is eating swaduvatti, varieties of fruits, the one who is eating, that fellow is not separate from the consciousness, and that mithya is always born out of ignorance. So ahankara is manifestation of self-ignorance. Ahankara is expression of self-ignorance. Tayoranya abhichakashiti. It just watches. Least interested. But then it just leaves it as it is. And how does it prompt? Darshana matram hi tasya prerita. By just seeing at him, It prompts, like those kings, when they see some dust, and this dust is here, immediately people run to keep it clean. For cleanliness is one of the agenda. So to put it clean, they will run. He does prerana. He doesn't do. Similarly, consciousness doesn't do prerana to be to be another bird. By sannidhi matra, by its mere presence, the other one is moving around. Other one is running around. And the other one is what? Mithya. Ahankara, mithya. The two-someness or two-something is told, not that after knowledge the other fellow will disappear. No. There will be ahankara, but that would be badhita ahankara. There will be transactional ahankara. The ahankara which knows that I have to conduct this way, and it conducts. Why wrong? What's wrong? Why not? So he does it. But then the anashnana vichakash, it just watches. Now, after knowledge, even if the ignorance is destroyed for good, ahankara will continue for vyavhara. It has to identify itself with sthula sukma sharira and do what is to be done. That badhita ahankara will continue. Okay? Don't take it otherwise. When the glass is broken, reflection is gone for good. So let us do that. It doesn't work here. Ahankara is mithya. Ahankara is superimposed on the consciousness. And the imposition is caused by ignorance. And unless the ignorance goes, superimposition would not go, ahankara will not go, moksha will not take place. Okay? With this, we conclude today's class and we'll start the next mantra next weekend. Om Purnamadav Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadhaya Purnamevavashishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Hari Om. Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. Hari Om.